Chapter 14, The Gathering of Forces. As time continued to slip away, the day felt unusually long, perhaps because it was a rainy Saturday in Qianjiang City. The downpour grew heavier, and the streets, already sparsely populated, seemed even more desolate. With the actions of the Zhou family, the Shen family, and the Sky Patrol Division, a palpable sense of unease settled over the entire city, as if a dark cloud was about to crush it. Anyone with any influence in Xinjiang could feel the overwhelming pressure weighing down on them. The Zhou family was the first to gather all its forces in the city. Every casino and club under their control had its doors shut, while their people silently prepared. Soon after, the Shen family followed suit, albeit with slightly less urgency. By noon, however, they too had begun mobilizing their forces. Although Gao Weiwei felt somewhat relieved, she was still deeply concerned about Xiao Lingfeng. She had lived in Qianjiang City for 2 or 3 years and knew all too well that the Shen family was no match for the Zhou family. The extent to which they could help Xiao Lingfeng was uncertain, and given that he had severely injured Zhou Jia the previous night, she held little hope. She had done everything she could for Xiao Lingfeng, but her expectations were low. Returning from her errands, Tianyi noticed Gao Weiwei hanging up the phone and asked, "Sister-in-law, were you talking to Miss Shen?" Gao Weiwei nodded, her face lined with worry. "Yes, Yuxuan said her father would help, but I don't have much hope. After all, we're dealing with the Zhou family. I don't even know how Xiao Lingfeng is doing right now. Tianyi, if Xiao Lingfeng manages to escape this time, please make sure he leaves the country and stays away for a while." Tianyi glanced at the small figure crouching by the hotel entrance, staring out into the rain. After a moment of silence, he took a deep breath and solemnly replied, "Sister-in-law, please trust my brother. He will come back safe." Gao Weiwei gave a bitter smile but didn't say more. Deep down, she couldn't bring herself to believe it. Xiao Lingfeng had been forced to flee abroad 5 years ago. What could possibly have changed in that short time? Could he truly take on the Zhou family, which had been established for decades? Tianyi shifted slightly, hiding the bloodstain on his sleeve. He had been out earlier, handling some matters. No one knew, but by midday, the leader of the largest underground force in Beijiang City had been replaced. Yet he couldn't let Gao Weiwei know about this. Looking at Gao Weiwei again, Tianyi tried to comfort her, saying, "Sister-in-law, my brother didn't know you had a daughter. I swear, if he had known that you and Xiao Xiao were suffering, he would have returned much sooner. My brother is a good man." Gao Weiwei sighed, staring at Xiao Xiao in the distance. "It's okay, I know he didn't know. I never told him." After a long pause, she finally continued, "I don't blame him. 5 years ago, when he had his breakdown, I could have escaped if I had wanted to. But I chose to stay. I didn't know I was pregnant until 2 months later. When I went to the hospital and found out, I was planning to terminate the pregnancy, but then I felt the baby move. You know, no woman can resist that feeling when she first feels her child move. That's when I decided to have Xiao Xiao." As she spoke, tears welled up in her eyes. She had never regretted her choice, not even when her family disowned her or when she was left alone in Qianjiang, working odd jobs while raising Xiao Xiao. She had borne it all without complaint. Hearing this, Tianyi's body trembled. After a long silence, he clenched his fist and promised, "Sister-in-law, my brother will come back safe, and he will take care of you and Xiao Xiao. Please believe in him." Gao Weiwei nodded, but her heart remained unconvinced. Outside in Qianjiang, the rain kept pouring down as time crept towards 3 p.m. Xiao Lingfeng remained seated in the villa courtyard, quietly meditating. He had received a message from Tianyi, which included a short video of Xiao Xiao waiting for him outside the hotel. His scarred and battered heart softened at the sight, and he felt a deep yearning. "Xiao Xiao, don't worry. Daddy will be back tonight. After I deal with the bad guys who bullied Mommy, I'll come home to you. I'll never leave you again," Xiao Lingfeng whispered to himself, watching the video on his phone. For a brief moment, he was tempted to give up everything. The temple of the gods, the hatred he had harbored for 6 years, he wanted to leave it all behind and live a quiet life with Xiao Xiao. How wonderful that would be! But he couldn't. Being powerless and choosing not to use his power were two different things. If he gave up now, he wouldn't be able to protect his wife and daughter. And after all Gao Weiwei had done for him, all the hardship she had endured over the years, he owed her. He owed her too much. Once this was over, he would give her the most lavish wedding, one worthy of her sacrifices. How are the preparations going on the Zhou family side? Xiao Lingfeng asked Tianqi, who stood behind him. Tianqi replied respectfully, almost done. I'd say in 2 or 3 hours, their forces will start coming up the mountain. They've even hired 2 5-star fighters from Tianhai as backup, but... Tianqi's voice dripped with scorn. 2 5-star fighters? Don't make me laugh. Even if there were 10 of them, I could take them down without you lifting a finger. The Zhou family really has no idea what they're up against. Let's finish this quickly. I don't want to waste any more time with these fools, Xiao Lingfeng nodded. As Tianqi was about to say something, his phone buzzed with a new message. After reading it, he looked up with an odd expression and said, Lord, Shen Qingtian from the Shen family is here. Apparently, she's here to help you against the Zhou family. Looks like her father is trying to assist on your wife's behalf. Oh, Xiao Lingfeng chuckled, shaking his head. It seems my wife really doesn't believe in me. It's just the Zhou family, a mere flick of the wrist is enough to destroy them. But since Shen Qingtian has come, I'll meet with her. He stood up, gazing out at the roaring Qianjiang River at the base of the mountain. He took a deep breath, and an overwhelming aura surged from his body. Those who should come and those who shouldn't, all will arrive tonight. Since that's the case, let's settle everything in one go. Indeed, forces from the Zhou and Shen families were gathering at the mountain, as well as the Sky Patrol Division. Even the reinforcements the Zhou family had hired from Tianhai and fighters from the Dragon Kingdom's War Department were making their way to this small, insignificant corner of Qianjiang. By the time the sun set tonight, the battle between all these forces would finally begin.